Hey, welcome to the first ever Nerd of Mouth. I am your co-host, Mike Lawrence.
I am also your co-host, Jake Young.
And we're going to talk about some nerdy stuff and have some fun. First off, let's talk about The Walking Dead.
Oh, of course. It's the best new TV show ever since the history of TV shows. Look out, I Love Lucy.
And Mike and Molly.
Whoa, let's not go crazy.
Right.
Mike and Molly is way scarier than The Walking Dead.
Mike and Molly is just fat, I Love Lucy. So The Walking Dead, let's talk about corpses and not fatty corpuscles. Walking Dead, I liked it, but it took me a while.
This was a controversial thing. For a while, most people thought you had no soul because there was far too many scenes of actual people dealing with loss instead of shambling dead things getting shot in the face.
Yeah, here's my thought on it was the pilot, they pulled out all the stops, they spent all the money, and then the second episode was also, you could still tell they had a budget. And then around episode 3, there were barely any zombies left, and I thought of that as them saving money. Jake thought of that as character development. And we kind of were at an impasse here. However,
I have this image of you just being like, this is just people crying in the woods. This isn't real TV.
Yeah, this is just my life. But anyway, no, people crying in the woods is just Wolverine X-Men Origins.
There is no more than 5 instances in that movie where Wolverine just puts his arms at both sides and just goes, "No!" while looking up.
Which is what I was doing the entire time it was on. But The Walking Dead, I did turn around episode 5 thanks to the great addition of Professor or Dr. Edwin Jenner and his talking robot facility.
That was a very bizarre... I mean, that's kind of what always has to happen in movies and TV shows, because it's always... you can't have actual people operating computers on TV shows because it would just be people, just typing for 3 minutes to get the lights on. So it's much... In TV land, it's always easier... What was the name? Veem?
Who?
The robot had a name?
Oh, it's a Dead Wife.
Oh,
I think was the name of the robot. It was Dead Wife.
Dead Wife, lights on.
Yeah.
Console 4, power.
But yeah, I ended up liking it a lot, but it took me a while. Now my complaint was, and it's still there in the back of my head because the last 4 episodes were a little zombie-less. It's just, this is the only show that has that. I can't put on Brothers and Sisters and watch zombies chew at Sally Field's face. I can only see that on The Walking Dead, so I want to see that. But yeah, so it took me a while, and now it sucks. I'm kind of pissed that I like the show because it's not going to come back on till a year.
The second episode they ordered the new season. How do you are television executives so scared that they just don't believe in shows anymore? All they trust is ratings.
Yeah.
They just absolutely well, I really believe in the show and I trust the writer and the director and every episode I'm proud to have produced. But what if people in Tennessee hate it? Better just order 6 episodes.
They're just did we get the Frank Darabont who made Shawshank Redemption or the Majestic guy? We don't know. We don't know. We'll wait for the people to tell us. I mean that makes sense because they are spending a ton of money. But at the same time, I think it was the highest rated cable series in a long time. 6.4 million viewers. So we won. Yeah, nerds.
For those of you who cannot see us in the studio, we missed that high five 2 times before actually getting it right.
Yeah, and those 6.4 million people who watched all called us faggot in high school for liking this stuff.
You saw the season finale, right?
Yeah.
I kind of wept a little when it's the dumbest thing in the world where there's going to be a nuclear explosion of some kind and an old man is pleading with a scared lady at the end of the world, and I genuinely wept.
And then the other black character was like, "What? There can be only one." So I still can't get over the fact that now the sole black character on the show is named T-Dog.
Oh, right.
And we have to accept that there are racist characters on the show and not just racist people writing the show.
Well, also, the only character with a real Southern accent is just a drunken retard. Also a little offensive.
Who beat his wife.
Who beat his wife.
Yeah.
That was such a good scene, too. I would watch Mad Men if it involved a woman beating her husband's head in with a pickaxe while crying in every episode.
Especially if that woman looked like uglier Jamie Lee Curtis.
A feat. Truly a feat.
Yeah, it is. Oh, God, every Friday's been freaky for that bitch. I did not cry during The Walking Dead. However, this isn't really geek related, but it is sad, so I guess it is. I cried at the end of the Christmas Glee episode. I only watch 2 shows religiously. That is The Walking Dead and Glee.
I keep forgetting that is the weak spot in your nerd armor, your affinity for Glee.
Which I have justified as the best adaptation of the X-Men. It is this school for gifted youngsters where nobody understands them, and they have amazing gifts that they just want to share with the world. You should see in the new episode, they're doing a Jamiroquai song, and then Sentinels kill them.
Now, we're talking full-sized or Nimrod?
It's called Gaze of Future Past. You had to see
it. It's going to be terrible if in future episodes I just laugh maniacally at all of your gay jokes in the entire podcast.
All of my gay-based X-Men jokes.
Now, I thought Pride of the X-Men was the gay X-Men show.
No, the one with Jubilee was.
Oh, the Canadian one.
Yeah, how do you out-gay Dazzler? That is a really tough feat.
Who do the kids really like these days? I know, put Dazzler on the team.
Oh, God, I just feel like that's how, like, Stanley hits on girls. Like, you're a real Dazzler.
I created Betty Brant.
And other tertiary characters. Oh, God. I treat women like I treat my artists. Unfairly.
I will steal you away like I stole credit from Steve Ditko.
Oh, man.
Would that be a segment? Just
yeah.
pickup
Well,
lines?
speaking of Ditko, that goes into our next thing, the Spider-Man musical. Yeah, there's a part of me that really wants to see this thing. I love superheroes and I love failure. And this looks like it has both. It's really interesting. Like, the more I read about it, the angrier I get. But the angrier I get, the more curious I am to see it.
Just everything about, like, even the posters seem wrong.
Yeah, Carnage is in it. Carnage is in it. Why is Carnage in it?
And all these the costumes, if you can look at them online, like Swiss Miss and Green Goblin.
Oh no, look, it's Cletus. I don't think he can defeat us.
We are Carnage.
We are family. I got my symbiotes with me.
You know what they spent all this money to get Bono and lesser U2 guy involved. And really, like, the only things that make money on Broadway are familiar songs. It's all these, like, what's the word? Medleys? No, revivals.
Yeah.
And, like, Weird Al level song parodies involving Spider-Man would succeed infinitely more. You can go online on YouTube and actually they did a live rendition of one of the songs on, like, Good Morning America.
Yeah, I saw it, yeah.
You know, really going to their target audience. And it is the most generic crap I've ever heard.
Yeah, there's
like, not even Fall Out Boy would be like, would take it as a B-side.
There's a song called Rise Above, which I wonder if it's just going to repeat the first 2 words of every issue of Torment. Anyone? Am I the only one who remembers?
Boom! Out nerded.
Yeah. The only one who remembers.
This is the part of the show where Mike Lawrence goes over my head, which is huge and filled with nerd crap.
Yeah. Do you remember Torment in 1990? It was Todd McFarlane was like, I should write, and everyone else was like, no, you shouldn't, and he did. And in every issue at the beginning. They would just, like, talk about, like, and he is a hero who shall rise above it all. and then it would juxtapose with the lizard, and he is a dark creature who must rise above it all. And yeah, hey, I lost you on Torment. You know who else did? The comic book industry. That was terrible. But yeah, this Spider-Man thing, there's a character named Swiss Miss.
An Art Deco themed monstrosity with like weird pointy blades flying everywhere.
Yeah, and Arachne, there's new characters, and Green Goblin is a southern environmentalist.
Oh,
green, emphasis on the green. How can you fuck up Green Goblin in two entirely different ways?
It's almost as if Julie Taymor does not care about Spider-Man at all.
No, she does. And I always love how they always talk about how like they're like, yeah, you know, Spider-Man just appeals to us all on a universal level.
No, it doesn't. It only appeals to scrawny nerds.
The way they do that is by taking everything we like about it to make it. Oh, it's just like everything else. Then, if it didn't work with 1966's, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman. Learn from your mistakes, Taymor.
I hear there is actually a revival of that musical, that Black Lois Lane, who is getting rave reviews, and I, for one, welcome this change.
Did you ever read I Am Curious Black?
Oh, of course. If in the Silver Age of comic books, the DC detective
Silver is a way of saying racist.
Yes. Yeah. People realize that if Superman could lift entire planets and hypnotize people with a thought and do literally anything, the only way to make stories about him interesting is to put him and his side characters in the most bizarre scenarios possible. Thus, Jimmy Olsen becomes a 50-story turtle monster. And in the most famous of these outlandish stories, something very special happens.
I think you could actually smell the Cheetos on Jake's breath when you're listening to this. That's how dirty Jimmy Olsen becomes a 50-foot monster.
Whoa. Pirate booty, first of all. Pirate booty. World of difference.
All right. By $2.
I like to treat myself.
Cinnamon buns ice cream while watching Glee. Yeah, I don't know. If someone buys me a ticket, I will go. I can't. It's probably going to be like at least $150, $200, but I do really want to see it.
Thwip.
But I was thinking,
when I hear that noise, I thwip. Come on, girls and boys, let's thwip. Thwip for us all.
Whip your hips left to right. Lost my Uncle Ben in a gunfight.
With great power comes great responsibility.
That's what he once said to me. Yeah. Well, that was one thing that we were talking about.
Did we just write half a better musical than Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark?
But how would you do a Spider-Man musical if it was to be done? Because I've thought about this. I would make Mysterio the villain.
Oh, theatrical.
That's perfect. It's theatrical. That's the perfect thing. This is how I would do it. Peter Parker is an audience member in the show. You're the beginning, like first few minutes, you're watching just a regular play, and then Mysterio takes it over and holds the theater hostage, and Peter Parker has to thwart him.
This is an amazing idea, Mike, and I hope you don't take offense. But what you just described was clearly just a stage production at Universal Islands of Adventure. Come on, kids, help him! Like, yeah!
No, because I went to the Spider-Man ride. I almost broke up with my girlfriend that day because I couldn't stop complaining about how awful the Sinister Syndicate team was. It featured Macendale Hobgoblin. Not even the best. I go Kingsley. It featured the female symbiote.
Oh.
And then it was
how you do in 1998?
Hydro Man, Electro, and Doc Ock. That was, and I could not stop complaining about this.
Who, given a choice about Spider-Man, whoever goes, we need Hydro Man. Are you sure? Sandman's kind of better.
He was in the cartoon in the 90s. He was in the and Sandman wasn't. How does Hydro Man just piss himself? Does that work? I always wondered that. Like how does he?
Hydro powers active.
He's just he's a character I always wanted to like, but He can't even change the shirt. Like, that's the thing. He's got to. I think that's the worst part of like having Hydro powers, that you always have to wear that black shirt.
I just think it's always amazing that Hydro Man, a longtime villain, a master criminal, if you will, always chooses to fight Spider-Man around large tanks of liquid nitrogen and or cement mixers, without exception.
Yeah.
If I were him, I would make sure, like, oh, where are all the giant canisters of liquid nitrogen? The only thing that ever stops me.
Oh, God, do you remember the 90s Spider-Man cartoon when they did the Hydro Clone saga? It was the worst thing ever. Why do I know
I'm sorry,
all about...
Could you repeat, what was the name of this plot line?
The Hydro Clone saga, episodes 59 and 60.
I'm just going to load this revolver slowly while crying, if you don't mind.
All right, well, what happened was that basically... Mary Jane, they kind of did like a Gwen Stacy thing where Mary Jane falls off the bridge but disappears into one of Spot's portals. The Green Goblin pushes her, and that's like the end of Mary Jane. And then she comes back, and Peter's happy, and it turns out that Miles Warren had recreated her as a Hydro clone.
Oh my God, I remember this. Oh God. I actively blocked this out of my memory.
Yeah. Oh, and your father touched you once.
No, that's well repressed.
No.
That did not cause nearly enough
I'll get over
trauma.
that someday, but Hydro clones. Like, how did they make the Clone Saga worse?
Actually, it's weird that you mentioned the Clone Saga, because my idea for the Spider-Man musical would be to have it at the Metropolitan Opera House and have it be a 9-hour opera about the Clone Saga, a la Wagner's The Ring Cycle. Like, people would have to like take breaks from it to eat and then come back the next day, and tickets would cost $3,000. It would be epic on a scale, like a cast of thousands. We're talking a Greek chorus. Yeah. And a narrator.
You take a break from it and then come back 6 years later and go, I hope it's good. I heard there's a new guy on the title. Right? I was one of those guys. Here's the twist is it doesn't end. Oh. I
just keep it going for as long as possible until one by one the audience
The Clone Saga turned me off. I stopped reading comic books for like 2 or 3 years.
Oh, absolutely. There was Yeah, that was it. Like, at some point, 90s comic land just broke, and Spider-Man was definitely the core of it.
Yeah, it was like, I'll try girls, and that didn't work. And I was like, you still want to swing? You still want to? Look, there's the chameleon, right?
Whip.
He could be anyone. Let's just punch people till we find out it's the chameleon. I just want to go on adventures again. So Turn Off the Dark. I think we should try to raise the money to see this. We should do some kind of a fundraiser. People could raise money to go to Scotland and do their one-person shows or whatever. We can raise $200 a piece. What do you say, Jake? If you're listening, please give us the money. We will give a full, in-depth review of Spider-Man: Turn Off the Dark. I'm sure there's tickets on Craigslist.
If it's bad enough, I promise you, the listening audience, I will sneak weapons into the theater and just start murdering. I will just murder people.
Well, he'll just shoot the stuntmen who are already falling off their harnesses.
Oh, yeah. There's already been enough death involved in Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. I shouldn't do that.
Hey, we'll be right back. So we're going to talk about video games now. For all of those that we lost with the Clone Saga, we're going to get you back.
They're like board games, but on a screen.
Yeah, and you get to be the characters. This is how people sold video games in the 70s. If you ever played ping pong, you get to be the ping pong.
All the thrills of disc shooting now at your home entertainment console.
ColecoVision. Now it's personal.
Oh my god! My cousins, I remember back in the day, had a Mattel Intellivision, which was like of the Atari knockoffs, one of the worst. Like they wish they were ColecoVision, and I remember like as a child being so confused by the fact that like these were video games, but bad, and my tiny brain could not wrap itself around that.
What were some of your? Let's talk about the holidays are coming up or are already here for us Jews. What were some of your? Let's talk worst and best video game memories as a kid. Your gifts. What were some good moments for you?
Well, it's any child of the Nintendo generation runs into the problem in which there was no way to know which games were good or bad. At all in the Nintendo era, and they all cost like $60 in 1980s money, which is extraordinary. And best video game memory, I finally got Super Mario Brothers 3, and my life was pure joy for the next month. And I think I might have danced and kissed both my parents.
And then your father touched you.
But I just looked at Mario's smiling raccoon-eared face, and I was like, it's gonna be okay.
See, well, you were saying like there was no way to tell which games were good. There was a way for us to tell. There was no way for our parents to tell.
Even for us, like, what would you do? Pick up Nintendo Power? Nintendo Power loved every game.
Well, that was made by Nintendo. They take it to Sunsoft every once in a while. Up yours, Tankin.
Throw Capcom a little action once in a while. No, Capcom's actually good. What was it?
Yeah. No, but like my dad, like, it was a parent mistake, but they'd always buy you the licensed games because they like, well, you like Batman and you like video games, so here's peanut butter and chocolate, but it doesn't taste good. It was like
I the first Ninja Turtles game.
Oh yeah, that was bad. One of mine was I had an older brother, so we would get like 2 games apiece, which means we had like 4 games. I remember one year. We had River City Ransom, which is a fantastic game, great game. Legend of Zelda, one of the best. I know you keep waiting for me to shit on something. I'm about to. Total Recall the game.
Boof! No, that didn't exist.
Because the sole reason why was because I was at my mom and stepdad's house and saw the 3-titted woman, which is the first time I saw tits. So I was really disappointed. You can only go down from there. What? There's only 2 on everyone? No. But
although you do get a little excited whenever you see anything made out of paper mache.
So I like Total Recall and I liked video games. So my dad bought me the Total Recall game, and it was just horrible. Okay,
if you can, please explain what you do in the first level of the Total Recall game, because I didn't even know this existed.
You fight a midget. You go in an alleyway, and there is a midget that jumps around and kicks you, just like in the movie, and you have to fight him. You fight a midget. That is what happens. I never got past like the second level. Like, and there were so many experience. The Silver Surfer video game was like that. Did you ever play that one?
I rented it and it kicked my ass. It was the Silver Surfer video game was like a shooter, like a la Galaga or
like 1943. It's like you scroll down,
and it was impossible. There was just no way to win.
You hit him like there's a level where there are like rubber duckies or whatever, and they're like jumping out of the water, and one rubber ducky will knock the Silver Surfer off his board. He stood up to Galactus.
The power cosmic.
Yeah, I mean, he can create and uncreate life. He told the devil to go fuck himself, and
he hangs out in the vacuum of space for fun.
Yes, and for Shalabal. I mean, it was like, and my dad was like, "You like Silver Surfer? You like this?" And man, but my worst, and it's not video game related. My worst Christmas moment, and you can share yours after, was first I was a big action figure fan, and I want to say this is when I was 9 or 10. I was like 15 or 16, and I had the three members of the Fantastic Four. I had the Thing, I had Sue, and I had the Human Torch, and I had
So
not
it was in
had
order of usefulness.
yeah. I had not had a Mr. Fantastic, and Christmas Day I open up the package and it's Mr. Fantastic. I am so happy. I finally get to go on all the adventures, and I make a little Play-Doh Willy Lumpkin to give them their mail. And the worst thing happened. He was like a stretchy armed guy. I just stretched the arm a little bit and it ripped off. Literally less than 5 minutes in. It was like I had just stepped on my glasses and I had all the books to read. It was horrible.
I thought there'd be more time. It's not fair. It's not fair.
Finally, they were going to meet the Impossible Man. Now all my dreams are impossible.
So this is Toy Biz era, I'm guessing.
Yeah, this was the animated series Fantastic Four.
I remember the Annihilus figure was awesome.
Yeah, well, you had you could take out the little head. You could remove the head, and you'd be like a little Annihilus guy inside the big bio suit. It was awesome.
I remember a similar thing. I got a Cyclops figure, which talked. And the way
it said, sorry, there were no more Wolverines.
I already had 3 Wolverines. I had brown suit Wolverine, blue suit Wolverine, space Wolverine, ninja Wolverine, underwater Wolverine, Arctic Strike Wolverine.
I'm not drinking to forget, I'm drinking to remember Wolverine.
Naked in a weird tube Wolverine. That was a popular one in the 90s. Yeah. And it because the technology to have a talking figure didn't really exist. It was a huge plastic rectangle backpack that you stuck on his back, and he only said 3 things.
Those.
It was just "Go X-Men, optic blast, fire," and then just the sound of a laser. And I lost the backpack on a car trip we had taken later the next day,
which is 3
so
more.
So I just had a useless Cyclops.
That's 3 more things than he ever said in the cartoon, which were just Gene.
Oh wait, hold on. Can I do my X-Men cartoon voice?
Yeah.
Morph! Morph! Wolverine really liked Morph. His death took a toll.
Oh God!
Morph!
That's your Wolverine voice?
He had a weird voice in that show. Especially when he yelled,
"Berserker Barrage!
Berserker Barrage!"
I remember another great memory was
Unibeam.
My dad bought me 2 members of the Foot Clan. That was sweet. It's he got it. It's you listened. Another terrible memory. Batman Forever, the video game. Yeah, it was the digitized. Remember in the 90s, everything
Mortal
was digitized.
Kombat
from
really took its toll on the video game world.
Yeah, from 95 to 97, it was what if it looks like they're real people? It was terrible. Oh God.
Except NBA Jam. NBA Jam was awesome.
Yeah, NBA Jam was awesome. Why are we giving a moment of silence for NBA Jam? The nail in the coffin. Oh man, I remember because I got the Batman Forever video game. We went home after seeing Cutthroat Island, and a child should not have to deal with that much disappointment in one day.
Oof. It was a terrible game. Do you remember the Avengers game for Nintendo?
Yeah, the original with Hawkeye and Captain America.
You only got Hawkeye and Captain America.
Yeah.
And all you wanted was just to see Iron Man or any of the cooler characters. But
wait. Are you saying Hawkeye isn't a cool character?
I'm saying I liked him better when he was called Green Arrow. Yeah! Come and get me!
You're an inch away from my face. I got more of you than I want.
But
oh boy, no, we're not leaving this.
Okay.
Hawkeye's a better character than Green Arrow.
You're wrong. But Clint Barton is a better name than Ollie Queen.
Hawkeye's purple is better than green.
In what universe?
The Marvel universe. No, I mean Well, all right. Well, we'll state your case.
All right. Green Arrow actually has a personality. That's cool. That's fun.
That's what we call a beard.
No way. He's the social moral voice. Hawkeye is just another guy on the Avengers with no powers. Like, you already have Captain America in there.
He has powers.
Good with a bow and arrow isn't a power.
He's also, but he is like Green Arrow, where he'll tell everybody to. He's the moral core of that team. He'll tell people.
He's
to go
the moral
after
core
themselves.
on a team with Captain America.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's the guy who'll always, he's got your back, because you know what? Here's the difference. Captain America will say, "Hey, I'd love to help you, but I have my own solo adventures to go on." Hawkeye will be there. All right, Hawkeye doesn't have Kevin Smith to save him. Nobody. He's always going to be on the team. I always like the guys who are always in the team, because you could always come back to them. They're not overused or overblown. Like, I take Wonder Man over Superman.
I'm sorry, could you unplug this microphone? I have to leave. Really? The ion-powered celebrity?
Yes, Simon Williams. But I like him because I haven't been overexposed to him over the years. He doesn't have 4 books coming out a month. I think those guys are often better.
The reason why they're not overused is because there's nothing to do with them, because they're two-dimensional weird things that just have to fill a space on a cover.
They're awesome.
Oh my god.
He has a great character arc.
Are we talking about Wonder Man now?
Yeah.
Okay. So you admit that Hawkeye has no character arc.
He has a character arc. He was a villain at first, then he reformed, then he became an Avenger. No one believed him, so he had to prove himself. He took the growth serum, which nobody wanted him to do, and he did, and he realized that it wasn't the powers that made him a hero, it was his brave and beautiful heart. So he went back to just being plain old Hawkeye, and he has been the best guy on that team for years. He told many different. He's the guy who will actually say to Gyrick, "No, fuck you." He is the best character on the Avengers.
Oliver Queen, a billionaire playboy in the beautiful, dazzling city of Star City, the best named city in all of comics, took it upon himself to go to the streets to reinstill hope in an entire city with his best friend, a tiny boy that is just as good as him at shooting arrows.
Yes, a billionaire playboy with a tiny boy. That's original.
I say we table this conversation for later while I go research exactly when the Arrowjet was done away with, because that's a terrible idea.
He had everything. He had the Arrow car, he had the Arrowjet, he had a girl with AIDS, he had everything.
Oh, that's always a good one.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Good friends, not anymore after him preferring Green Arrow over Hawkeye, but wounds heal. And we wanted to open up a little bit, and we're sharing holiday memories and stuff. And I mentioned crying over the Glee episode and all that. And I was thinking, and I think Glee's a good show and people respect it and won Emmys, so I'm not ashamed of it, but I think every nerd has that one part of nerddom that they are actually ashamed of, that you're embarrassed about. It's probably on Sci-Fi and stars John Rhys Davies, but everyone has one. Jake, what is the nerdy thing that you're ashamed of?
I will say the thing that I cannot defend on any level whatsoever is, to this day, I still think Dragon Ball Z is kind of cool.
Well, I'm not going to let you defend that.
Yeah, I can't. It's the worst.
Horrible.
It's terrible. It makes professional wrestling look like Shakespeare.
That's actually mine. That is my shame.
What does his power level say? Tune in next week.
More training montages. It's like Dragon Ball Z is like Rocky 4 without the fight at the end.
Your only trick is that you have hidden secret power? Everyone knows that my galactic double super secret hidden chosen one power is the best.
Why does Goku sound like Wolverine? Yeah.
Goku!
Oh no! What about the power crystal?
The Goku's voice in the original Japanese dub was done by a woman. And his voice is so high pitched and terrifying.
They're all these anime. Like, that's one of the reasons I can never really get into anime. It's all women.
That's the problem. All these bitches ruining my anime.
Yeah. Oh, it's terrible. But yeah, pro wrestling.
I respect women.
I'm a big fan of pro wrestling, and Lord knows I shouldn't be. It is terrible. Because here's the difference. Like with comic books, there are moments in comic books that make you proud to be a comic book fan. The first time you read Watchmen, or there's like American Splendor or Ghost World, or even there's like great superhero comics. Some of those old Spider-Man issues and stuff, or Fantastic Four. You're like, this is a viable art form, and this is great. You cannot say that about a Papa Shango match. You just can't. And the idea, because I've tried to give up wrestling for
Now, when you first created the character of the Ugandan giant.
And by created, I mean painted moons on a black man's breast. But stuff like that, there's no way to defend that. They took a black guy, basically put him in a thong, and said he's from Uganda. Because that's what Southern people think of blacks. I watched it.
Now, this is something I wanted to ask you about, because you make a point that comic books have had its moments of artistic sublimation. That's not the word I'm looking for. But, is there a Watchmen of professional wrestling? Is there a Dark Knight Returns? Has it ever had its moment where it got elevated?
You know what? It's hard to say, because even at that high moment, there were matches that I could show like a regular person. Even at that high moment, it's still a guy throwing a punch that's not a punch. It's still there are implicit parts of professional wrestling that you can never, I still have to explain to myself that you can never excuse with other people. It's like with The Walking Dead. Even if the people didn't know that was a comic book, they're like, "Oh, this is great," and 6.4 million people watched it. But Here's one thing in wrestling that you cannot explain to people: the Irish whip. When a guy takes a dude and pushes him, and that guy just starts running, it makes no sense whatsoever.
Oh,
you
push someone, a rope! I can't change my momentum. I just have to bounce back.
Yeah. And even in the some of the greatest matches, Steamboat Savage, WrestleMania 3, Hart Austin, WrestleMania 13, there was
Big Boss Man versus Evil Big Boss Man.
That never happened.
Oh, you're
right. That's just you masturbating. But yeah, but I mean, it's just one of those things. It's still kind of shitty. It's still you're like, wow, this is awesome, and then someone runs in during a match, and someone just knows to play that guy's entrance theme. Stuff like that you can't explain to people, and all the deaths.
You don't understand
all the deaths. That's another it's embarrassing to be because a lot of people saw the wrestler who have never seen professional wrestling before. That was their first gateway into professional wrestling. I don't think that movie made any professional wrestling fans. And it's not like you can watch that and be like, wow, this is a great art form, and then put on, Paul Bearer going, no one can defeat my Undertaker. It's a 400-pound guy named Paul Bearer, which I love, but I completely understand. I've never been able to defend my love of professional wrestling to anybody.
It's I mean, I guess it's like soap operas.
Yeah, but those are terrible also.
Yeah, but like
Remember the one soap opera that I watched was Passions because that had a midget in it. Evil. It was a doll that came to life that they had to fight. So it was a lot like the first level of Total Recall.
and thus the circle is complete.
Yeah. A very small circle. Oh.
Take us home, Lawrence.
Well, that was our first episode of Nerd of Mouth, the pilot, as it were. I have been Mike Lawrence.
And I've been Jake Young, and manning the ones and twos, the very awesome Marcus Parks.
Yeah, let's give it up to Marcus.
I will never, ever apologize for my love of sliders. I know that dig was against me. I know that dig was against me. I will never apologize.
It was on at 3 a.m. What the fuck? It's the reason your relationship failed. Sliders? Really? That was your breakfast at Tiffany's?
We left it together.
I said, what about Jerry O'Connell? I said, wasn't he the fat kid in that movie? I mean, really?
Within
Sliders?
episode 5, you would have think like
That's your foundation?
It wasn't our foundation, but it was, goddammit, it was a good memory.
Oh.
It was one of the good ones.
sliders.
I miss you. I miss your scent. Oh, God. Sliders.
Okay. Goodbye, folks.
All right.